My channel over at subscribe to the various other links. So lectures on pronouns from the mentally unstable crowd over at Blue Sky. If you're not over there, you should go check it out. It's like Tumblr combined with what was the worst of Twitter. So now you may think making a video game for, I don't know, a 95, 99% male audience and then lecturing them on pronouns would be a formula for success, and you'd be wrong because men don't believe in this pronoun fad. That's something women and girly men believe in. It's a fad that lets them virtue signal that they're the center of the politically correct herd, where the left kind of operates on fear, and they always want to be right on the center and not the periphery. Otherwise, they might do a wrong thing and get pushed out. And honestly, kind of the sad thing about the left is like they never move on from something. If you did one faux pas and you are on a low place on the hierarchy, you might as well just leave the left and just go strap on your Hugo Boss and get your Mauser, because they're always going to hold that over your head. So there's also a vibe on the left of kind of like a mom with PMS, the school teacher for young kids, where these people got off on the Wu flu was a really good example of it. And they're trying to bring that back, the whole mask thing. You know how I know they're bringing it back? It's because I noticed masks on the ground, in the being in the gutters, being washed out to the bay, which goes out to the ocean, because they drop their masks and they're not picking them up. It's like, but they're virtue signaling, yeah, by littering masks. I'm sure they'll bring out biohazard waste receptacles any day now. And the Wu flu is what allowed these people to virtue signal. Like, there's a crowd of people, mostly women, to be fair, who loved that power it gave them, or the perceived power, because they could wear their masks and mumble, yell at people until they got right in your face and got so frustrated by you not masking that they would take their mask off so they could yell at you for putting their 300-pound lives at risk. It was a weird time with this 3 years of peak hysteria. So let me explain. The pronoun thing started to get in really high gear about 10 years ago. I noticed it on Instagram. Actually, Miley Cyrus was at the beginning of it, because kids were desperate to get attention. Back in my day, our day, a jeans vest jacket might be kind of the cool fashion choice, or if you were really lucky, a leather jacket. I think it used to be black leather jackets were cool, and they still are, but then I think it was Top Gun that came out with the brown weathered bomber jacket, and that was a style for a while. So anyway, you have fat bored kids who, and I'm sure this was an American invention, who decided that they could get attention. Let me get, hold on, let me scroll down to her. All these people who got canned, obviously, because of going woke, go broke, who decided that they could get attention on Instagram by saying that they're non-binary, and then magically everyone jumped on board and it lost its cool, and these fat kids would film themselves coming out bravely, well, to the extent that 15 seconds on Instagram would allow, as non-binary, and their parents, the look on their faces was like, great, I don't care, let's go clean your room or something, because it didn't mean anything. It's like, yeah, we're all teenagers, this is really stupid. I mean, this has got to be the stupidest fad in history. It's a state of mind, a very stupid one. Like, I'm coming out as Picasso blue version. It means that they don't know if they're male or female. If you can feel between your legs for the answer, I mean, it's just, you can, like, nobody's really confused. Do you routinely stand to pee? That's a pretty good indicator. This is also just so painfully gay and retarded. I mean, stupid. Anyway, so the shine wore off that rose for virtue signaling points. They always have to top themselves. So then these bored fat kids looking for attention decided to top the binary thing by saying that they were trans. Are they? No, that's also stupid. How can you can't be something you're not? That's like, a child should know this. You're what you're born as? Again, obvious. This is so stupid. We have to pretend to take these stupid teenagers seriously. And this is the fault of these damn kids with their Pac-Man. They're having cell phones and social media. Because what happens is you have, kids with really dumb ideas. We're all kids. The thing is, when I was a kid, and to more kids, I think of my generation, we knew that we were just dumb kids. Like we didn't get so rock centered in our beliefs. Maybe because it was more common to have adults telling you that your views will change as you get older. So I just kind of I wasn't such a obnoxious kid as maybe the kids are today. But now I guess it's all like the self-esteem generation, or what do they call it? Participation trophy generation. And like in a weird little fit of self-awareness, I was saying this to somebody on Twitter, and the person said, "Well, it's your generation that caused that." It's like I think it was older than our generation that caused the participation trophy thing. Anyway, so it's cell phones and social media is kids come up back in the day. If things were much more limited, you came up with a stupid idea. It was very local. That's how slang you could tell where someone was from by their slang because it was very localized. Like I remember, like San Francisco had different slang than the East Bay. So now kids are able to spread these really stupid ideas. You are what you are. You don't feel that you are something else. And I mean, even if you did, you don't need to announce it to the world. That's just attention-seeking behavior. Anyway, so the next step for the bored fat kids to get attention was to use the wrong Imagine working there for 20 years and you decide to throw it away on making this one stupid woke game. They decided to use the wrong pronouns, and at first they started with like biologically the feminine and the masculine form, but then they just started creating pronouns out of thin air. And the thing with the left wing is there's no brakes on their train, because somebody saying no to bad ideas is the patriarchy and it's attacking them, so they just have to pretend to go along with, oh, I'm a Zim and I'm a all these imaginary genders. That was just peak Tumblr cringe. And then Tumblr shut down, I guess, the adult content for a while, and then they all went to Twitter, and then they brought it back, and now they're all over Blue Sky. Blue Sky is like just all like Epstein Island type stuff. It's really dark. So it became kind of a fat kid fad of putting the pronouns everywhere and introducing each other, and the only people who cared were other fat, stupid American kids. So my point is, you have this small group of dumb kids and older, mentally unstable adults who are on board with this stuff, but it's a tiny group. But since they're in this echo chamber, this positive reinforcement echo chamber, and they're terrified of diversity of thought because that's basically what the Nazis wanted, they're not aware of how small their group is and how it's perceived by mentally stable people. It's a fad, and it peaked a few years ago. There's a definite vibe shift. Trump came out of the gate a little bit harder than I expected. I was more pessimistic about that. Like, is he going to keep it up? No, the pessimist in me says absolutely not. But the thing is, Obama deported like 12 million people. It's not. I refuse to have hope, but it's not impossible for Trump to, quadruple that if he wanted to. Like that would be no one would be more shocked than me. But so Antifa is a little off topic, but they're going to protest and riot, and there's some talk about them doing more extreme things, like going back to the days of the 60s and the 70s. There was a lot of Weather Underground type of stuff. So there's talk about Antifa doing that. And it's like, today's left wing is not the old left wing. They just don't. I don't think they have it in them. But the thing is, like, oh, so how come you didn't do that under Clinton? Because I think he deported like 8 million people or something. And Obama said it was about 12 million people. It's like, how come that didn't? How come Combat Rock with Slater Kinney? I remember that in the Bush era. It's like, oh yeah, it's a cool song. Don't get me wrong, legitimately good groove. So if there's a Democrat in office, we don't get a Combat Rock song. Is it Tool's Perfect Circle? They did some like anti-war songs. Oh, that's cool. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Let's pull no more wars for that other country we can't name. Yeah, for no more foreign wars. Absolutely, we don't need to be the world's policeman, as the founding fathers said. Absolutely, pull out of foreign wars, 100%. And they just kind of look around sheepishly. It's like, well, not when there's like a black Democrat in office. Then it's okay to have foreign. No. Whether it's an R or D, I say no foreign wars whatsoever. Where's it going with this? All this stuff is a fad, obviously, and there's the vibe shift. There's a definite vibe shift with these people. So these people are in a game division. These two people mentioned, they look exactly like you expect. You can see them on Blue Sky. To make a specific game, and like I say with everything from Star Wars to Lord of the Rings, you should be printing money. All you have to do is stay out of your own way, and that means follow the artist's original intent. Like Peter Jackson said about Tolkien, they're just going to do what he would have done. Let the story tell itself. Don't insert your own politics in there. Just sell the audience what he will pay for, not what he says he wants. Because there's a difference between that, and the left wing doesn't seem to understand that. Talk is cheap. When there's money actually involved, that's when you know somebody is serious. And you have to look at, well, where is the money flowing right now? And right now, there's definitely a vibe shift to the right, so you want to stay on top of that. So these people who do these games, and somebody posted a thing where they're all like Liliths and all these kind of like made up stripper names. And all the other made up names, they get together to make what should be some tits and ass Dungeons and Dragons type of game, and there should be nothing in there that specifically dates the game to the Trump derangement era. So they do the exact opposite, and what should be the tits and ass character talking about the game is now talking about their pronouns. It sounds insane when you say it out loud that there's several scenes in there giving the audience a lecture on pronouns. Why not just look at the camera and call the audience stupid for buying the game? Call them fat and dumb. It's the same effect. The pronoun scenes in the game have nothing to do with the game, and the majority of your potential customers who are male and far-right Hugo Boss, apparently, will refuse to buy the game if the stuff is in there. But since these trans obese cat ladies think everyone is like them, and if you're not, you're an Elon Musk saluting Hugo Boss. And there are scenes discussing some females' sexual orientation and pronouns or something. And then there's the wokest, most insufferable lecture from these mentally ill power fantasy types, where what should be a tits and ass character calls a female using the correct feminine form of the language, which is how language works. And then this SJW Rose Tico winces to virtue signal the faux pas, and they both wince together in a yikes my guy, just yikes type of scene. So she does push-ups because she used the correct pronoun, but reality is triggering to this crowd, so she gets in the hands on her knees, subservient position to do these push-ups to atone for her sin of being accurate. This is the humiliation ritual where you're punished for telling the truth. How many fingers, Winston type of thing. Because pronouns refer to your state, your actual existence, not your state of mind. It's the most bizarre and awkward scene in the game. The whole thing tells you they have a power fantasy worldview, but it creates this scenario where you imagine yourself in that character's role and how would you respond. And a great parody, if I had any talent, would be to do a video where the Rose Tico winces at the correct pronoun, and the crowd asks, well, what's the problem? And she explains that she used some fucktard pronouns, and they look at tits and ass character and they wait for her to do the push-ups and the doggy style apology, and she just looks at them and says, yeah, I'm not going to apologize for being right. You people are crazy. She has a vagina. She's female. This is just retarded. But these woke idiots never expected anyone will disagree with them in a Margaret, I don't care, I just don't want them in my country moment. It's time to deport the BLT to Mexico. We have the cringe recipes. Anyway, people predictably saw the woke previews and they decided not to waste their money on the game because they must all be Nazis, because they don't believe in the trans ideology, and obviously we don't believe in any of this because none of this is real. So because of this, their division shut down yesterday, and they didn't start a family of games from this soy yeast infected foundation, so they transferred some people to some other games, and then they fired the rest. And they're on Blue Sky, proud of their years of making games and looking for another game company to infest with stupid woke nonsense, and unfortunately they probably will fail upwards. That seems to be the thing with the left in general, and I don't think they've learned their lesson yet. And this stuff doesn't really make sense because the industry knows that the woke Zoe Quinn level stuff has a limited audience, so you'd assume that they would if they were going to make gay games like a Zoe Quinn Depression Quest type of things, to do it for like $50,000 and a very small, just like a passion project or something, but you don't put serious money into something that has various scenes on pronouns, or you'd want to do like an audience test reaction or something, or you should be able to get on social media and gauge the temperature, but they can't do that because they have anyone who disagrees with them blocked, which is that's a real failing on social media. But if you're in the business of selling to people, you really don't want to block anyone. You want to hear all these different divergent points of view, and they can't do that because anyone who disagrees with them is in their mind an existential threat, like Trump is the next Austrian corporal type of stuff. It's just absolutely crazy. It's like, maybe you will see the left wing take things to the next level because kind of they have to maintain, I don't know, their political capital, their moral high ground, because they painted Trump as this monster, and he's doing exactly what they don't want him to do by deporting people. So, like, yeah, they really would have to take it to the next violent stage and start attacking ICE, which would be just so sweet to watch. I'm not advocating any illegal activities or anything. I mean, it would be fun to watch the consequences of that. Because one side has at least some training, and the other side doesn't. So, I'll leave it at that. I just hope that somebody gets some drones out there so we can film it in high definition. I'm sure the FBI will be all over that, and then they'll withhold the video until later. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next episode.